The electric bulb by Thomas Alva Edison, the first AC motor by Nikola Tesla, and the laws of motion by Isaac Newton. All these inventors are white, but what about the black inventions that have been claimed by white people? We mostly stop at traffic signals, and it is the most crucial invention for the safety of millions of people driving on the road. But do you know who invented this life-saving machine? His name is Garrett Morgan, who is a black person. In the city of Cleveland, Ohio, Garrett Morgan was the first person of African descent to purchase a car. After witnessing a major vehicle accident at a crossroads in the city, he decided to improve the existing traffic signal by adding a yield component, which alerts drivers coming from the opposite direction that they are about to come to a complete stop. Surprised? You must be wondering why such crucial inventions remained hidden from public view. Curious about this apparent dominance by white inventors? Hold tight, because we're about to shed light on the brilliant story of these African-American individuals with golden hearts. The compact, or can be said folding beds that we're using in our small houses are also invented by a black person. Folding cabinet beds were invented in 1884 by Chicago Furniture Company owner Sarah E. Good. Good aspired to create a solution for those with little space who needed to furnish their homes. Cabinet beds can be folded up to seem like desks when not in use. On July the 14th of 1885, Good became the first African-American woman to be awarded a patent. Sarah E. Good High School for Science, Technology and Engineering, and Math Education may be found in Chicago right now. Nowadays, in the cases of fire or gas leakage, what helps us the most? Your answer will be obviously the gas mask. And would you be glad to know that this amazing thing is also invented by the same person who invented traffic signals? His name was Garrett Morgan. The concept of a blood bank has also been developed by a black person. While attending Columbia, Charles Richard Drew developed an interest in examining methods for prolonging blood shelf life. Drew found a way to separate red blood cells from plasma, allowing for more convenient storage of each component. With this method, blood might be preserved for longer than the previous 7-day limit. As a result of Drew's research, the first blood bank was established. You all have eaten potato chips, and did you know where this concept came from? At the time, George Crumb held a position as a chef at a hotel in New York. A patron complained that the French fries in his order were subpar, and the restaurant was forced to send them back to the kitchen. In a fit of pique, Crumb sliced the potatoes as paper-thin as he could, fried them until they were crisp as possible, and then liberally sprinkled a considerable amount of salt on top of them. This led to the development of the potato chip. Are you a fitness freak? Well, then you're definitely using peanut butter. George Washington Carver was the creator of peanut butter and hundreds of other goods made from peanuts, sweet potatoes, and soybeans. Carver, who was born into slavery before it was abolished, ran away from home at an early age to further his education. He attended Iowa State University, where he earned a master's degree in agricultural science. After decades of teaching and research at the Tuskegee University, he passed away, and his childhood house became the first national monument dedicated to an African American. The next one is dryer, as in the first clothes dryer was patented in 1892 by American inventor George Sampson. It took the premise of Poquin's initial design, a metal drum with a rack that dried clothing away from the main source of heat, and vastly improved upon it. Stoves were used instead of open fires, making the dryer not only more effective, but also safer. Another African American by the name of Andrew Jackson Beard made significantly fewer railroad workers killed or injured as a result of his invention of the first mechanical railroad car coupler. Beard's creation was an early version of modern automatic couplers. Jefferson County, Alabama is where Beard's life as a slave began. After gaining his freedom at the age of 15, he settled down on a farm and eventually owned a flour mill. Beard, who had no formal education, created 3 new types of plows, patented 2 of them, and used the money he made to make wise real estate investments. After patenting the automatic railroad car coupler in 1897, he went on to design a steam-powered rotary engine. Workers had to brace themselves between train cars to manually couple them before Beard's invention. Most people who manually couple cars lost at least a finger, and many more lost hands or limbs or were crushed between vehicles. Beard's Jenny coupler removed the need for a human to manually connect vehicles by using horizontal jaws that lock together upon impact. Nowadays, the printers that we're using are so smart. But what is the most basic thing about a printer? Well, obviously it's ink, right? So that ink was also invented by an African American. George Washington Carver came up with 325 ways to turn legumes into cash, including printer's ink. Cowpeas, sweet potatoes, soybeans, and peanuts are all in this group. He pioneered the practice of crop rotation, in which he would alternate growing nitrate-producing legumes with nutrient-absorbing cotton on the same fields. Linseed oil and soybean oil are utilized in the majority of commercially available oil-based printer inks today. Evaporation then dries this type of ink. A slave from birth, Carver rose to become a leading scientist and innovator. Whenever you see a fire extinguisher, always remember the name Thomas J. Martin. He was awarded a patent for his fire extinguisher design on March 26, 1872. The fire extinguisher that Martin patented in Washington, D.C. under the number 125063 was an advancement above previous versions. Some historians consider Martin's upgraded version to be the first practical use of the mechanism, despite the fact that British Captain George William Manby is credited with designing the contemporary style of the fire extinguisher in 1818. Businessman Thomas Jefferson Martin owned a plantation in the Alabama town of Harpersville. On May the 29th of 1842, he entered the world. You have definitely used a pencil sharpener, or you see kids using a portable sharpener. And behind this amazing invention, there was a brain of an African American. John Lee Love, a black man, was the inventor of the portable pencil sharpener, which he invented in 1897. Love was a pioneer in the African American community. It is not known very much about his life, but he is remembered for two inventions, one of which is a plasterer's hawk, which functions similarly to an artist's palette for a mason or a plasterer. The second innovation that bears his name is a plasterer's hawk. Love is regarded as one of the many African American inventors for developing simple tools and gadgets that made daily life more convenient. As we are talking about pencil sharpeners, why are we forgetting the fountain pen? Yes, also invented by an African American. His name is W.B. Purvis. William B. Purvis was an American inventor who received acclaim for the innovations to the fountain pen that he invented in 1890. On August 12th of 1838, Purvis was one of 8 children born to Joseph and Sarah Purvis in Pennsylvania. James Fortin, his maternal grandfather, was an outspoken abolitionist, and Robert Purvis, his paternal uncle, was an active member of the Underground Railroad. The children of Robert Purvis's brother were heavily influenced by Robert. In 1885, William Purvis tried to launch a company based on one of his innovations by forming the Sterling Paper Bag Company. In 1894, Robert Purvis took over the company's approximately $100,000 in debt after it went bankrupt. He also invented the hand stamp. In the annals of history, countless black innovators have gifted the world with revolutionary ideas, only for their accomplishments to be overshadowed or claimed by others. As we delve deeper into the narrative, we recognize the resilience and brilliance of these unsung heroes. Their stories deserve to be heard and celebrated. If you believe in amplifying the voices and achievements of black innovators, do us a favor, like this video, share it far and wide, and subscribe to our channel. Let's change the narrative one story at a time. #BlackExcellence.